Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast, brought to you by DirecTV, 1-800-259-7646. Also brought to you by RVRealtor.com. If you're buying an RV or selling an RV, check out RVRealtor.com and the Dollar Shave Club. Here's John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. It is a Wednesday. Holy cow, we're halfway through this week. How'd that happen? And we're almost done with the month, Heidi. Today's the last day of September.
It's insane.
Coming up later in the program, we're going to be visiting with Gail Harris. When I say we, I mean I will. Heidi always takes off and gets coffee and
I'm not allowed
reads
to
the
talk
paper.
to the guests.
Well, it's because I've had you talk to guests. And then afterwards I had to apologize. But we have Gail Harris. She's got a really cool book called Finding Zoe, and it's the subtitle is A Deaf Woman's Story of Identity, Love, and Adoption. It is a beautiful, wonderful, amazing story. Be listening for that later in the program. Also, do you know what? A survey shows Americans have fewer close friends than ever before.
We have actually just talked about this.
We did, because we were talking about, on Facebook, we've got all these friends, but then people you actually go do things with.
We just don't have any friends.
There's an all-time low as far as the number of friends each American has, close friends, lower than we've ever had in the past.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
you think it'd be easier to, have close friends because you can, message them through social media instantly. So get out there and make friends with somebody today. Coming up, we got some fun stuff on the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. Get razors for $1 a month plus a few bucks shipping, so you can enjoy fresh razors every month for as little as $3. Learn more at dollarshaveclub.com/radio.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. For the past 68 years, Malcolm Darby has worn glasses to correct vision. It was caused by the measles that he had when he was 2 years old. He's 70.
That's too bad.
70 years old now. When he was 2, he got the measles. He had to wear glasses. Last year, listen to this, Heidi, he suffered a massive stroke, which you would think, man, that's too bad. But listen to what happened. He had the resurgery, removed a blood clot. When he awoke from the procedure, he had perfect vision. Or near perfect vision. It reminds me of Vegas Vacation. Remember, no, it was Christmas Vacation. It was like,
her eyes aren't
kicked
crossed
my
anymore.
mule, eyes went crossed, fell in a well, eyes went straight. I don't know. Cousin Eddie was my favorite.
I love Eddie.
And my least favorite vacation movie was The European Vacation, and he wasn't in that one. I was like,
no, he wasn't in that one. I don't know. That Thanksgiving Vacation was pretty
that wasn't
terrible.
one of the regular ones, though.
Yeah.
So there you go. Anyway, for the past 68 years, he needed glasses. He had a stroke. He woke up, eyes fixed. I think that is a miracle. That's absolutely amazing. Coming up, we've got a story so hard to believe that you just won't believe it. It's on the way.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RVRealtor.com. If you want to buy or sell an RV, go to RVRealtor.com. List your RV for free. Learn more at RVRealtor.com.
You know it's true because you heard it on the radio. Take a listen to this. A Japanese company says people will soon be able to get their daily dose of vitamin C by simply wearing their special T-shirt. If you're feeling a little sluggish, maybe under the weather, no problem. Just wear their T-shirt.
What?
A Japanese company has developed a fiber that contains a chemical called provitamin, which turns into vitamin C on contact with the human skin. They've applied the fiber to T-shirts, and these T-shirts have the equivalent of a vitamin content of 2 lemons, and they'll be effective at being thrown after being washed 30 times. They'll still be effective. You wash them 30 times, you still got vitamin C in there. A company spokesperson says the product is aimed at women who are interested in skincare. Or anybody who's interested in weird technology. That is such a weird idea.
Yeah, that is a very bizarre idea.
Would you wear a T-shirt that gives you the proper amount of vitamin C?
If it gave me all of my vitamins from my fruits and veggies, probably.
You'd rather...
And calcium. And iron.
That's not what I'm talking about.
Well, we need to one-up them. We need to invent the veggie shirt.
So they still call it a T-shirt. Shouldn't they call it a vitamin C shirt instead of a T-shirt?
It should be the C-shirt,
There you
not
go.
the T-shirt.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why they're just utilizing vitamin C, because like you mentioned, if you could do all of them, maybe they should. So maybe one of those multivitamin companies could create their own T-shirts. And why T-shirts? Why not do it like Well, we'll leave it at
Have you ever
T-shirts.
smelled vitamins, though?
Yeah,
Would
they
you
don't
want to
smell
walk
good.
around smelling like vitamins?
I don't think so.
No,
That's what I was
especially
gonna
not
say.
fish oil.
I was gonna say maybe make them undergarments, but I don't know if we want to go there. We're gonna just move right on.
I'm
Coming up-
very proud of you. You
I know.
don't usually make the comments
I know,
like that.
but that's why I said we're gonna just move on. We're gonna keep on trucking. You know that's true because you heard it on the radio.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by the Keystone Treatment Center.
This is your brain, and this is your brain on drugs. We share silly stories here on the program, but addiction is no joke. If you or someone you know suffers with an addiction to drugs or alcohol, make today the day you seek help.
Call toll-free 844-204-1055.
That's a toll-free number. Again,
844-204-1055.
And this is your brain on drugs. Can a gas leak be considered battery? What? As if getting a DUI wasn't enough, a man arrested for driving under the influence got into more trouble at the police station. Police stopped Jose Cruz on Route 60 in South Charleston for driving with his headlights off. That's usually not good. Then he failed a sobriety test. That's not good. Then he was arrested. When police were trying to get fingerprints, Cruz moved a little closer to the officer and then passed gas. The investigating officer remarked in the criminal complaint that the odor was very strong. Cruz is now charged with battery on a police officer,
Wow.
as well as DUI. So he tooted, and he was written up for that.
Yeah, I
battery.
think that's probably going a bit too far. But,
But, you know, it wasn't very nice of him to do it. I'm just saying. But that's what happens when your brain is on drugs. You don't necessarily think things all the way through. Coming up here in a little while, we've got a guest on the program, Gail Harris. She's an author. What a sweetheart as well. It's been fun visiting with her. I'm looking forward to talking to her about her book, Finding Zoe, a Deaf Woman's Story of Identity, Love, and Adoption. That is on the way in just a while on The John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Keystone Treatment Center. Addiction is no laughing matter. Call Keystone Treatment Center toll-free at 1-844-204-1055.
If you're looking to increase business for your company, it's usually a good thing, assuming you don't work for, I don't know, a firefighting company. Take a listen to this. James Carl, a seasonal firefighter during the summer, his part-time help is all he did there, but he got paid when he actually had to fight to put out fires.
man,
Well, thinking
I
he
can see where
might
this
drum
is
up
going.
some extra business, James started some fires.
oh, no.
His unit was called in upon the fires being started to put them out. That in itself qualifies him to be a moron, but he went one step further. On the day that he set the fire, he would start the fire engine to get it warmed up before the rest of the crew even knew there was a call. That made everybody else
Yeah,
on the team a
everybody's
little
like,
suspicious.
"How
They're
did
like, why are you
he-"
starting? He's like, oh, no, we got a fire call coming in. What?
Yeah.
Trust me.
Wow.
Yeah, he got himself in all kinds of trouble. Don't do that. I remember when I was younger, I heard a story about a place that sold glass that paid a kid to shoot out windows. They were trying to drum up business, and they paid a kid. They gave him a BB gun, and he went around and shot out windows in town, and then he ratted them out, so which he should have.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's your moment of duh. We have your scoop of the day on the way.
The Scoop of the Day is brought to you by Wells Blue Bunny. If you want delicious ice cream, be sure to look for the Blue Bunny. Sure to have your favorite flavors. Learn more at bluebunny.com.
Now, your scoop of the day. Heidi, when is a bottle of ketchup not a bottle of ketchup?
When it's anything but Heinz.
Evidently, when it's not in the promised land. According to the Israeli newspaper, Heinz ketchup, arguably the most recognizable brand of ketchup in the world, must be labeled tomato seasoning in Israel because it does not contain enough tomato paste to earn the title of ketchup.
Oh.
So they're saying, it's not ketchup. Wait a minute. Heinz invented ketchup, so I think they could probably pass that anywhere. It's been discovered that mosquitoes can pick their victims by scent and can sniff out attractive human targets as far away as 40 miles. Wait a minute. I never get mosquito bites. Does that mean I'm not attractive?
I don't know. Last night you were complaining about the flies buzzing
that's
all
different.
around you. They
Yeah.
weren't bothering me.
Flies are bugging me all the time. Flies are attracted to... Never mind.
Garbage and poop.
Yeah. What does that tell you about me? Hey, ladies, don't worry. I'm already taken. An Arizona man arrested on alleged possession of methamphetamines apparently enjoyed his stay in jail so much he didn't want to leave. David Spurlock was released on the drug charges but caused trouble when he refused to vacate the premises.
Huh.
Sheriff Joe Arpaio, he's a neat guy. I've seen him in interviews, says officers had to forcibly escort Spurlock away from lockup.
No, this We've read several stories like this.
Where
several.
They want to
where
stay?
they don't want to leave, and then they break back in to jail.
I'll tell you.
So this should tell us something about we're probably treating them too well if they don't want to go home.
Joseph Arpaio, this is the guy, Sheriff Joseph Arpaio, has been ridiculed in national media for being so hard on the inmates, makes them wear pink, does all kinds of stuff that he's like, you know what, you're in my world now. I can do whatever I want to do. But apparently he's not so hard on them because Spurlock didn't want to leave.
Huh.
All right. A recent PPP poll. Have you ever heard of that before?
No, I have not.
They don't even explain what that stands for. It looks at conspiracy theories. 51% of Americans believe that there was a conspiracy in the JFK assassination. I'm not going to ask if you believe it or not. That was 51% there. 15% believe that the government controls our thoughts through television. I had to read that because it says controls out thoughts, but I think it means. So 15% believe that the government controls our thoughts through television. 13% believe that Obama is the Antichrist, which is just below the number of people that believe Bigfoot is real. That's 14%. And 4% of Americans believe that lizard people control politics.
What?
That is a recent PPP poll. I don't know.
Well, they might be slimy, disgusting creatures, but I don't think they're lizards.
That is so funny. Good answer, Heidi. Good answer. Hey, you thought your city was dangerous. Head out for your commute. Maybe you should just be thankful that you don't live in St. Louis. Men's Health says that is the most dangerous driving city. The number of fatalities and crashes, the percentage of fatalities that involve alcohol, speeding, and hit and runs, the rate of seatbelt use, and they don't wear them apparently, all factored in, the number of years between accidents, all of that stuff. Also, laws on cell phone use while driving. They're saying it is so dangerous to drive in St. Louis.
Huh.
You want to know what city has the safest record?
Sure.
St. Paul, Minnesota.
Really?
Yeah. I've been in that city and I've driven there. I disagree.
I was going to say, yeah, we have driven there.
Ladies, if you're in the market to get hitched, find a short guy. A new study from NYU says short men marry later, make more money, and they stay in relationships longer, and they divorce less than their taller counterparts. So, ladies, if you want to be happy for the rest of your life, get a short man to make you his wife. There you go. Something like that. If you're aiming to live in the present, you'll want to restrict yourself to the last 15 seconds. That's how long we perceive a current moment to be, 15 seconds. A group of U.S. researchers says not a split second. Instead, our minds seem to blur altogether what happens right now with what happened over a brief period. But they're saying the moment that you would consider present, 15 seconds. Now, our strange law for today, because I noticed Heidi's just glazed over. I don't know what that means either. In New York City is disorderly conduct for a man to greet another man by placing his thumb on the tip of his nose and wiggling his fingers at the same time.
I can't imagine any
disorderly
grown
conduct
man doing that anyway.
I can't either. That's a strange law. This has been your Scoop of the Day.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RoughToughKennels.com. Dog kennels and accessories sent to your front door wherever you live. Your dog deserves it. Learn more at RoughToughKennels.com.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. We've got a special guest on the line right now. We have an author with us, Gail Harris, and she's got a book out called Finding Zoe, a deaf woman's story of identity, love, and adoption. Gail, thanks for joining us today. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for having me, John.
Well, we're excited to have you on the program. And first of all, when did this book come out? Is it just recently come out, or has it been out for a short while?
It's been out for a while. And the really exciting thing is, though, we're a finalist for an IPNE Book Award. I'll be signing out tomorrow. You know, if we won IPNE, for those of you who are not in New England, it's the Independent Publishers of New England. So we're really excited about that. When I say we, it's myself and my co-author, Brandy Raris. It's actually her memoir, and I wrote the book for her. A lot of myself is actually embedded in the pages as well. It's a unique book collaboration, I must say. Again, my co-author, it's her memoir, and her name is Brandy Raris, and she's a former Miss Deaf America. So the book is about her journey to self-acceptance, to coming to accept herself as a deaf person, because she was born hearing and became deaf at 6 years old. And she struggled greatly with accepting herself. She really tried to be hearing for a very long time until she just couldn't do that anymore and realized that, gee, I could go on pretending to be hearing for the rest of my life and fail, or I could be the best darn deaf person I could ever be. And she went on to become Miss Deaf America, and then went on to adopt a deaf girl. And her husband were living in Sioux Falls at the time, as there's a very big deaf community there. And so that's where a lot of part of the book takes place. It's where they adopted their daughter.
That's really cool. And again, the book is called Finding Zoe.
Finding Zoe.
And now Zoe would be their daughter, is that correct?
Yeah, Zoe's their daughter. And if I could just say, John, it's one of these stories where what seems horrible up close is beautiful from a distance. There was so much heartache and agony that really went on with this, because Zoe, this little girl, was actually rejected by 4 parents before she was adopted by Brandy and Tim at 8 months old. And she could have so easily ended up in a foster care system, but instead she ended up into the perfect home. And so the lens that we tell this story is not how people suffered, and I mean, you could always look at it in that way, but we tell the story through what I call the lens of perfection, where everything had to happen exactly as it did in just the right time for this little girl to find the perfect home for herself.
I think that's a really good way of looking at it. Now, part of the theme of the book would be really kind of looking at, like you were just saying, all of these things had to happen exactly the way they happened in order for this to work out the way it is. And there are times where, you think you know the answer. You think, oh, this is what's going to happen. But then you got this gut instinct that tells you something else, and you're going, okay, do I go with my brain or do I go with my gut? And you're saying you should go with your gut every time, shouldn't you?
Right. I believe so. I believe that that's really a way to live where we have the most fulfilling life, because when we don't go with our gut, the opposite of that, John, is really going by what other people tell us and what we're spoon-fed our entire life. And, in my personal experience, and a lot of people I know, that does not bring us personal fulfillment. It's really listening to that inner voice, even when it tells us things that we don't want to hear.
And when you talk about the inner voice, to me, that feels spiritual. Do you feel that there's a spiritual side to this, using your intuition?
Well, I do personally. I think that our relationship with our intuition is a very personal one. I would never tell anybody what their intuition should teach them, or even that they should really believe what I'm saying right here. I'm here to share my experiences and what I've learned. And for me, it's a very spiritual experience. For me, I believe that there is an order to this crazy life, and it's a good order in spite of the difficult things that happen to us. And that when we connect in with our intuition, we're connecting in with that good order, or that higher power, or that part of us that's connected to something greater than ourselves. And I think that's a good thing. And from my personal experience, when I am connected with my intuition, John, I know what it means to be a powerful person in my life. And powerful in the sense, not so much by controlling and manipulating other people, which is really what we've been taught to do. And we need to do that at times. We need to survive in this world. But I'm putting the power and the life force of the universe, or God, whatever you want to call it. It's like putting that behind you and using it in your life so that you could have the best life and be the best person. It's very spiritual for me.
I would agree with you 100%. I know there are people who would disagree with this, but I for one, I'm a Christian. I believe that God is still in the miracle business. I really think so. I think that miracles happen every day, and it's really neat when you look at the book that you have out, Finding Zoe. Like you had mentioned, if any one little decision had been done differently along the way, this wouldn't have happened. But everything happened on purpose, and I think that was the plan. And you don't necessarily see that from the beginning of the race. And there are times that you have to take a path in life that you're going, man, this really stinks. This is a lot of uphill running here. But when you get done, you can look back and say, wow, if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't be where I'm at today.
That's so true. And this book is a quintessential example of that. And I really think it serves as an example for people to try and look at their lives in that way as well. Because when something, quote unquote, negative happens to us, like say a relationship ends, or whatever it is, we want to resist that change, and we want to fight it, and we think it's bad. We think something terrible happened to us. But like you said, when we take a step back, really what I believe, because I am a spiritual person, that was a gift given to us that opened us up for something better for us to be in our lives. And of course, again, we have to decide whether to accept that new thing as well. And I believe that it's always our intuition that guides us to make those choices.
Again, the book is called Finding Zoe, and where can I find a copy of this book?
Oh, wherever books are sold, also Amazon.com. It's out there.
And we've been visiting with the author of the book, Finding Zoe, Gail Harris. Gail, you have other books out as well. What are some of the other books you have?
I have one other book out, and that's actually about trusting your intuition as well, but it's more of a self-help. It's like a primer for learning how to connect in with your intuition. It's called Your Heart Knows the Answer, and it teaches you how to trust yourself and make the choices that are right for you. As I said, it's like Intuition 101. It teaches you how to hear your intuition because our intuition has certain characteristics. We have to learn to distinguish it from our thoughts and feelings, and the book gives you practice in doing that. So, in a sense, that book is a self-help, and then Finding Zoe, a personal example of people living according to their intuition, because a lot of people had to make some very, very difficult choices. 4 parents actually decided to give up their daughter. I mean, could you imagine what to make a decision like that? But they were true to themselves. They trusted their intuition. Part of that was feeling that they needed to do that because it was best for their little girl. And it was a miracle. What happened was really a miracle because these people trusted themselves in very, very, very difficult times.
Well, Gail, we appreciate you doing what you're doing. I'm excited to get a chance to read Finding Zoe and also the book, Your Heart Knows the Answer. Folks, when you're out looking for one, just get them both and read them both. Now, should I read one before the other, or I can read either one in either order?
The theme is the same about trusting ourselves, but they're so different you could read them both at the same time or in any order.
Well, we're going to send them out to get them. Gail, thank you so much for chatting with us again today.
Oh, thank you for having me. Take good care.
Definitely. Again, Gail Harris, and the book is called Finding Zoe, Z-O-E is how you spell that if you're looking for it, a deaf woman's story of identity, love, and adoption. Go check it out wherever you like to buy your books. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by CarsForSale.com. If you're in the market to buy a car, truck, or van, find thousands of vehicles to choose from at CarsForSale.com.
Today is a very special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. It's Wednesday, the 30th day of September, which means today is one of my favorite days in the world, Ask a Stupid Question Day. I do that every day.
Can you believe it's the last day of September?
It is the last day of September.
That's crazy.
It is also Banned Website Awareness Day, which you don't want to do any of those on your computer at work. I'm just telling you. Blasphemy Day, International Translations Day.
Blasphemy Day.
Yeah, I don't know why you would celebrate that. National Mulled Cider Day and National Women's Health and Fitness Day. You know how I'm going to celebrate today? You know what I'm going to do to celebrate?
What is it you're going to do?
This
should be interesting.
And ask a lot of stupid questions.
Ah.
So it's kind of like every other day for me, really.
Oh.
I mean, have you ever listened to the interviews that I do on this program?
Oh, yes. No, actually, you are very good at that. That is a strength of yours.
There are so many times after the interview, I'm like, that person has to think I am the biggest idiot in the world.
No, that is definitely a strength of yours. You can talk to anybody and have...
Yeah, but some of the interviews, I'm talking to them about, because there are times that I know what I'm talking about. I get the info ahead of time.
90% of the time, you have no clue and you're flying off the cuff, but nobody listening would have any idea.
So I shouldn't have admitted that?
No, but I think it's fantastic. No. I wish I had that skill. Yeah. I don't have that skill.
I've been caught a couple of times thinking I know what we're talking about. And I'm like, what are we talking about again? Oh, that's what that is?
Oh, my wife and I made some stuff out of that cookbook. It was amazing.
And
amazing.
Heidi's
she was like, really? What did you make? One of them...
Was
there something with meat?
Well, Heidi's over there shaking her head. No, it was a different cookbook.
I'm like, oh my gosh.
I'm like, okay, never mind.
It had meat.
Sorry about that. It's the one with meat in it. You have any recipes with meat? All right, we got some weird dog products coming your way in a bit. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by StoneGroupArchitects.com. It's more than a building. It's design and function working together. Check out the project portfolio at StoneGroupArchitects.com.
All right, this should be fun. For those of you who are dog lovers, you know you would do almost anything for your furry little friends, wouldn't you?
Yes.
I mean, I see you bringing home new collars and leashes.
Yep, all the time.
In the wintertime, they get coats. I mean, come on. You don't need coats for puppy dogs.
And they don't like them,
so
I don't buy those anymore.
I noticed that. Anyway, we have here the good old days when you could just strap on a leash, go for a walk. Well, that's so yesterday. Now we have all kinds of things that are weird dog products. Number one, the Doggy Bag Puppy Purse. Yeah, you put your puppy in there, and it's a way to carry them around because, it'd be awful for them to have to walk.
Yeah.
So you walk around with a dog in a purse? Really? How about the Poopsie Daisies? It's a bag that straps to your dog's neck, giving you a place to store its poop while you're out for a walk. Now, nothing says I don't want to go for a walk again like strapping poop around my neck. I don't think your dogs would want to walk around with that, would they? I can't imagine.
I can't imagine
called
they would not.
Poopsie Daisy. Next, the dog-powered scooter. It's a human. The human is in total control of the speed and the direction because the dog is basically harnessed inside of a frame. But they get into this thing. It's a dog scooter. I don't know.
Why would you need that?
I don't know. These are. Did you hear the title of this? Weird dog products. I'm not endorsing any of these. The Canine Calmer. It's an anti-barking device that doesn't use pain or irritation. What makes it unique is that it uses proprietary ultrasonic muscle composition, songs that are inaudible to humans to calm your anxious pet. So they have these little songs that are playing in tones that we can't hear, but the dog can hear it, and it calms your canine. The Canine Calmer. And the last one on the list here, the Snack Shots Treat Launcher. I want one of these. It's a high-tech slingshot you can use to shoot your dog's treats up to 12 feet. Of course, you could always just throw them, but, how much fun would that be? So if you want to have your dog really happy, shoot his treat across the room and have him go get it, or her go get it. Some weird dog products. Coming up, I'm going to tell you why you need to smile, because if you don't, it might kill you. Maybe not quite, but I'll tell you the correlation in a bit.
This portion of the program is brought to you by DirecTV, 1-800-259-7646. Also brought to you by RVWheelator.com. If you're buying an RV or selling an RV, check out RVWheelator.com and the Dollar Shave Club. Here's John and Heidi.
Heidi, would you say that most of the time you smile or most of the time you don't?
I think I smile a lot.
I think I do too.
Yeah.
And for the most part, I think most people would consider us pretty smiley people because we're usually in pretty good mood most of the time.
Most of the time.
A fascinating study from Germany reveals that cynical, hostile people are 5 times more likely to go to their grave early, like before the age of 50, than people who are even-tempered. The study shows it wasn't even necessarily the hurry type A people who suffered from high blood pressure and heart disease. It was people who are angry about something. So what you need to do is whatever that is, let go of it. If you're holding on to something, you got this grudge, let go of it. I remember I got to teach a little class one time, and I was talking about holding on to grudges. And do you know how they trap raccoons? They take a box that they can fit their hand into, and they put a nut inside of it. They can reach their hand into it, and when they grab a hold of the nut, they can't get their fist out. So that's how they trap them. And they are holding onto that nut so hard, they won't let go of it, that they'll literally stand there until the person comes and catches them alive because they won't let go of the nut. Mm-hmm. That's the same thing. If you've got some sort of hatred or anger in your life, let it go, because you're not going to help yourself at all. Let it go. According to this story, it could actually kill you.
That is so
early.
much easier said than done.
Oh, I know. I'm not saying it's easy. And I'm not saying I do it all the time, because I should. But I know there are times that I go, boy, I really need to work on this. But I'm telling you right now, let it go. I'm not going to sing from Frozen.
No, please don't.
Because my wife will stab me with that pencil. I see the way you're holding it. Let it go. Oh! All right, coming up here in a bit, we've got some fun stuff to share. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by GunUp.com. If you're a gun lover, you'll be in heaven at GunUp.com. Built by experienced military veterans, shooting sports competitors, and publishing professionals. They have awesome stories and articles that are read by millions of gun enthusiasts. Check it out at GunUp.com.
Their eyes met across the crowded room. Lines like that are more than just a staple of romance novels, Heidi, and swoons from songs and handsome heroes. Scientists at the University College of London say that glances from across the room, attractive people, when their eyes meet, according to this, where did I lost my spot. Oh, it says glances stimulate activity in a part of the brain linked to rewards. A neurologist says, what we've shown is that when we make eye contact with an attractive person, the brain area that predicts rewards starts firing. So they're saying when you see somebody that's good looking and they look back at you and smile, there's like this little treat in your brain that's like, ah.
Oh, yeah, I could see that.
I get that every time I see you. Oh,
Do you?
I do.
That's so sweet.
That's why I married you. Coming up, we got the power of the internet. We'll tell you all about that in a bit.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. You can get razors sent to your door each month for just $1, plus a couple of bucks shipping. It's an amazing deal. Log on to dollarshaveclub.com/radio to learn more. That's dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
The internet is one powerful thing, Heidi. Take a listen to this. A woman in Boston was chatting with a man from Wisconsin. They didn't know each other. They're just chatting online. And she said she was depressed and she was thinking of killing herself. So Jeff Erlanger, the guy that was in Wisconsin, only knew that her first name was this, and she was on the internet, and he knew that there was a super, or whatever the name is, a username on the page that they were on together. So he didn't know a whole lot about her, but he reached out to the Boston police, and he gave her the first name, the screen name, and the city. With no more information than that, police were able to help. So they were unable to help, rather. So he called America Online, who gave him her name and address in an emergency. Minutes later, police went to her home and found her, and she had cut her wrist, but she was saved because of this guy that she was talking to on the internet.
Huh.
So I think it's crazy that he was able to call America Online and get that. Why wouldn't the police have been the ones to call them?
Right.
You would think that's who it would have been. And it's kind of weird because I could call America Online and say, hey, I need to get somebody's name and address.
Right.
Now if I'm
an
a
emergency.
stalker.
Yeah.
But I'm really glad that they helped in this particular case. But it's crazy that he was able to do it and not the police. She was taken to Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center for treatments. And she's going to be okay. But that shows the power of the internet. You know, two people from...
You know, it's crazy.
What's
I
that?
didn't even know America Online was even still a thing.
It is. Yeah, I remember just like, I don't know, a month ago, 2 months ago, I got an email from somebody from America Online. It wasn't someone who works there, but like their email address was their name at AOL.com. Because when I got it, I was like, what? I haven't seen one of those in like years. And I will tell you, it was a very nice, we'll say, seasoned gentleman. He wasn't a younger man. He was an older man. Very nice guy. And I even asked him, I said, so how long have you been on America Online? He goes, I don't know, like 20 years.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, that explains it. All right, coming up, we've got some good news to share. It's on the way.
This portion of the program is brought to you by DirecTV. Call 1-800-259-7646. They have hundreds of channels to choose from, with many packages to fit your viewing desires. Learn more at 1-800-259-7646.
We always like to end things on a positive note around here, so we're going to go right here. What's better than scoring touchdowns in the NFL? Well, there's a lot of things, I suppose, but for former NFL great Warrick Dunn, it's scoring in life and making life-changing moments for deserving people. According to the website Urban Intellectuals, Warrick Dunn Charities is a successful charity that has provided 139 people with a home. 139 single mothers, to be exact, have gotten homes because of this. Dunn has dedicated his post-NFL career to making a difference in the lives of families by helping them achieve the goal of home ownership. And there are people who deserve a home, that would like to have a home, that are just not quite able to get a home, and they work with Warrick Dunn and his charity to get there. Huh. So it's not like they were given a free home. They were able to buy a home, I believe, if I understand it correctly. But I think it's really neat that he's helping give them a hand up instead of a hand out. That is just such a cool thing. And he doesn't have to do that at all. He could say, you know what, hey, I made my money. I'm going to just, go swim in my pool and count my bills, or what, I don't know, what rich people do, because I'm not sure, whatever they do. But I'm just saying it's really cool that he's made the decision that I do want to give back. If you'd like to know more, I've got a link to this on our Facebook page, facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. You can read the whole story and get all the details there. But I just think that's really nice that he's doing something good.
Yeah, that's good.
So, there are so many easy jokes, because I could very easily throw in there about how many other NFL players are doing things with single mothers too. But I'm not going to go there. So
well, you did. But...
No, I didn't. I chose not to. See? I took the high road. I just told you about the low road.
In a roundabout sort of way.
I just told you about the low road. I didn't go there. All right. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
Time now for the bonus break. Only available here on the John and Heidi Show podcast.
Our bonus break is brought to you by the Dollar Shave Club. You can learn more on their website. And I'm going to tell you something really quick before I even give you the website. You can sign up to get razors delivered right to your mailbox, and it's a cool service. You don't have to go to the store anymore and buy razors. You don't have to spend the ridiculous prices that they ask for the refills on the razors at the store. Instead, this guy has upset a $17 billion industry, Heidi. His idea has turned their industry on its ear. And I think it was time for that. I really do think that it was time for somebody to come in and say, it doesn't have to be this way. So hats off to the founder and the guy that came up with the idea for the Dollar Shave Club. If you want to know why people are loving it like I am, go on there and check it out. You don't even have to sign up. At least check it out so then you know what it's all about. DollarShaveClub.com/radio. Now, let's talk about, this was sent to me through email. I think it's kind of cute. So I said I would share it. I was going to share it during the program, but I decided, I'm going to do it during the bonus break. I have a little more flexibility here.
Okay.
Because, on the radio, might upset somebody. On the bonus break, we've already warned you. It's a bonus. You could have stopped this a long time ago. So it was sent to me through email, and it's called the Top 10 Oxymorons.
All right.
So, and the funny thing is, the reason the guy sent it to me is because he said, I've always thought of you as an oxymoron. Big John Small. Ever since I was a little kid, it was Big John Small. So he said, I was thinking of you when I saw this. And I said, I'm not an oxymoron. I'm just a regular moron. Let's clear that up. So number 10 on the list of the top 10 oxymorons, government organization. So, yeah, that's probably, because government, not necessarily
not organized.
Number 10, alone together. I've heard people say that.
Yeah.
We're all alone together. If you were alone and you were together, you weren't alone.
Right.
Next, Dodge Ram. I think that's funny. Did you dodge it or did you ram it? But it's a Dodge Ram. Next, it was taped live. Taped?
Yeah.
Or live? How is it both? Plastic glasses. Because by definition, they should be glass, but they are plastic. How about tight slacks? Slacks are supposed to be slack.
Slacks are loose, I see.
Yeah, but they're not. They're tight. How about somebody that's pretty ugly? Is she pretty or is she ugly? Or is he pretty or is he ugly? How about this? Tax return.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's your money. They're just giving it back to you, just so you know. Number 2 on the list of the top 10 oxymorons, virtual reality.
Yeah.
It's either in reality or it's not.
You were afraid of offending somebody with all
Well,
this?
because there's a couple of them on here, and this last one is probably the one. The top 10 oxymorons, number 1 on the list, Microsoft Works. And I know there are people out there that don't use any Microsoft products.
I don't think any of those are offensive.
No, I'm just saying. I always try to err on
But
the side
my
of
idea
caution.
of offensive and yours are somewhat different.
For those of you who disagree with me agreeing with her and what she just said, check her Facebook, check my Facebook. 2 completely different worlds. Anyway, I got nothing against any of those. I have nothing against Microsoft. I know there are people that don't. Like, I've had people who, they won't put any Microsoft products on their computer. None. I'm like, I don't get it. I understand if you don't like them, but it's free tools. Just use them,
Yeah.
All right, over here, Robert Martin made a number of errors in his quest to rob a gas station. First, he ran out of gas before he ever got there, leaving himself stranded on the side of the road in a stolen car. Driving a stolen car to a robbery was his second error, but his third and fatal error was standing by the stolen car, waving to a police car as they drove by. They ran a license check and discovered it was stolen.
What an idiot.
Hey, they gave him a ride. That's the good news.
Oh, yeah, they did.
Yeah, that guy was not all that smart. Police smashed down the door of a man's flat before realizing they raided the wrong address. Paul Forbes was buttering toast in his boxer shorts. Police told him to put his hands up and get on the floor. They apologized. They realized mistake when they checked his ID. They later arrested a different man at a different address that was really similar to his address.
Wow.
And Abraham Lincoln is wanted on suspicion of bank robbery in 10 different places. Okay, it's not really Abe Lincoln, but it's a dude wearing an Abe Lincoln mask. He's wearing a false beard, wired-rimmed sunglasses, and a dark overcoat, using a Lincoln-disguised mask to rob gas stations and retail stores. I'm sorry, I said banks. And hundreds of dollars in a Washington, D.C. suburb. Police say the disguise bears a striking resemblance to Abraham Lincoln. I'm going to tell you right now, Abe Lincoln is not the one robbing the banks.
Honest Abe would never do that.
Well, and he's been dead since 1865. So that he got a couple things going for him. I would take his case as a defender. Not a problem. All right, that's going to do it for your bonus break. You can learn more at DollarShaveClub.com/radio.